Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be picking my May TBR. How is it May? I don't know. I don't even know what's happened to this year, but here we are. So, you know the drill. I have a bunch of numbered prompts, 1 through 75. I have taken off some prompts that we've used already. I've filled in a few more, but instead of 85 prompts, I'm down to 75. I adjusted the picker wheel to reflect. I do have a few books that I plan to read in the month of May. It's a really big month for new releases or sequels that are coming out. And I have a few that are like must reads for me. So I'm going to do my best to fit those into the prompts. But I think we're going to pick maybe a total of 8 books for my TBR. And then that will give me some wiggle room to read some of the books that I want to read and allow me to be able to mood read, because I typically read like 10 to 14 books a month, depending on the books and how big they are, etc. So let's go ahead and give it a spin. We got number 14. I'm going to go ahead and go over to my list of prompts and go to number 14, a book that will make you cry. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and look through. I have a bunch of books that I have checked out from Libby right now. That's my biggest source of books that I read outside of books that I own. In fact, it's probably the biggest source of books I read, period. And sometimes the way those become available dictates what I read. But I'm looking here and immediately I'm seeing that there's a book called 10 Minutes, 38 Seconds in This Strange World by Elif Shafak. And I've read 2 other of her books. One of them made me teary-eyed. Both of them are very heavy topics, and most of her books are. I've heard that this book is like gut-wrenching. So I think that has a potential to make me cry. Trying to see what else I have here. There's also a memoir. A lot of times memoirs make me cry because I know that they're real true stories about the people. You know what? Let's just make it easy. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Elif Shafak book because I've been wanting to read that book. I got it from the library very recently, and I need to get it read this month. So that will be our first book on the TBR. Let's go ahead and spin again. Sometimes the wheel goes gray. It's really weird, but it still works. So this picked number 30. So let me see what this prompt is for 30. A book with a number in the title. Man, I just picked a book with a number in the title, but let's see. Okay, so far in my Libby, I also have another book by Elif Shafak, which I kind of get hyper-focused sometimes when I find an author that I like or a book that I like. So I had checked out several books by this author. It wouldn't be unheard of for me to read 2 books by the same author in 1 month. This one is The 40 Rules of Love by Elif Shafak. Let's see what else I have. That's it as far as my Libby books go. I'm looking through my Audible books, my Audible library. So far, I haven't come across a single book with a number in the title, so that might be our only option. But I do have a lot of books in here, so I'm still looking. Saving 6. I have been wanting to move forward in this series. That's the next duology after Binding 13 and Keeping 13. Saving 6 and Redeeming 6. So that is a possibility. I would probably read both of those books back to back. Let me see if there's anything else that pops up. I think since I have 40 Rules for Love on my Libby, and it's something I'm likely going to read anyway, and it definitely has a number in the title, I think that the other books might fit other prompts. So I think we'll go ahead and do that. So we're going to do 2 Elif Shafak books. So far we have 10 Minutes, 38 Seconds in This Strange World and The 40 Rules of Love, both by Elif Shafak. Let's go ahead and spin again. Number 15. Didn't we do 15 already? No, that was 14. Okay. Number 15 is a book with multiple timelines. I bet I have several of those, but I'm going to have to do a little bit of investigative work. Okay, so I started thinking about it, and When the Moon Hatched has 2 very different timelines. It's the present and the past, and we flash back and forth. So I thought to myself that perhaps the sequel is the same, and I did a little bit of Googling, and it is. And so I'm able to fit my sequel read of The Ballad of Falling Dragons into this prompt. And that is what we're going to pick for book number 3. So I'm pretty excited about that one. I'm going to add it here to my list. Okay, let's go ahead and spin again. 25. Okay, let's see what prompt number 25 is. A book with court in the title. That should be pretty easy. Let me see what books I have. I know I have several fantasy books in my library that I need to read that I'm sure have court in the title. So let me check that out real quick. Actually, you guys, this is really easy because I've been wanting to start my reread of ACOTAR in preparation for the 6th book coming out in October later this year. And because I think I read ACOTAR in 2020 and 2021, so it's been a minute. A Court of Silver Flames hadn't even been released yet. And in fact, I haven't read it because I wanted to go back and reread before I read the 5th book. So my plan is to read a book a month until October, which means that I need to start in May. So the first book is A Court of Thorns and Roses, and it fits this prompt perfectly because it has court in the title. So I'm really excited that all of these prompts are working out in my favor. Okay, let's go ahead and spin again. So far we've got 4 books picked out, so we're doing really well. 8. For some reason we're staying like really on the low end. We haven't had a number above 30. Even though there's 75 prompts, so that's kind of crazy. Prompt number 8 is a book published before 2020. Okay, this is a really good prompt because I definitely have a bunch of books that I want to read that were published before 2020. There was a period of my life where I was hardly reading because I was a young mom. I was going to school and working full time, and I missed a lot of books during that time that I would like to go back on my backlist and read. So let me take a look at some of the ones that I know right off the top of my head, and then we'll choose from those. Okay, I got a stack of books. Before 2020, I wasn't really into fantasy books. And so most of my backlist for pre-2020 is going to be either general fiction or most likely historical fiction, because that was what I really, really enjoyed reading before that point. So I just picked up a few that I have on my shelf, and we'll go through and we'll see if I can get the audiobooks for any of these, and even if they fall into that category, but I'm pretty sure these all do. So the first one is Best of Friends by Camila Shamsi. I picked up this book when I was in Greece last summer. I've really been wanting to read this. I know it's a book about friendship, like platonic love, and I love books about friends and friendship. I'm trying to see. She's been writing since before 2020, but I can't find the copyright. Oh, here we go. Okay, no. This was first published in 2022, so that's not gonna work. The next one is What the Wind Knows by Amy Harmon. And one of my best friends who we have like very similar book tastes just read this book and was like, "You're going to love it." So I was like, okay, I need to escalate it and put it up higher on my TBR. So let's see when this one was published, because I think it might have been before 2020. Yeah, 2019. So this is a contender. So we've got What the Wind Knows. Another one is Molokai by Alan Brennert. I've been wanting to read this book for a long time. It's a historical fiction that takes place in Hawaii. Since I just got back from Hawaii, I think I would really enjoy reading this book right now that's set there. Yes, and this was written in 2003, so this is an oldie. Another one I grabbed off my shelf is This Is How It Always Is by Laurie Frankel. Let's see. By the way, I met the author when I was in Seattle a couple of years ago, and she personalized this book for me, so I really want to read this. It's been on my list for a while. Yes, 2017. So this is a contender. And then We Are Not Like Them by Christine Pride and Joe Piazza. I think that's how you say it. Let's see when this one was written. No, this is 2021. Okay, so we've got it down to This Is How It Always Is, Molokai, and What the Wind Knows. Now let me see what I can readily get on audio, because it's just easier for me to get through them when I have the audiobook right now in this phase of life. Okay, we'll try What the Wind Knows by Amy Harmon. Actually, I might have this book on my Audible, so let me check that too. What the Wind Knows. I do. I have this on my Audible, so this is definitely an option. Let's look at This Is How It Always Is. I also have that on Audible, so that is still an option. And Molokai. I don't have Molokai in my library, but let me check the public library on Libby. Okay, Molokai is also available. So let's read the little blurbs because I don't know which one I want to read. So this is a richly imagined novel set in Hawaii more than a century ago. It is an extraordinary epic of little known time and place, and a deeply moving testament to the resiliency of the human spirit. Rachel Kalama, a spirited 7-year-old Hawaiian girl, dreams of visiting far-off lands like her father, the merchant seaman. Then one day, a rose-colored mark appears on her skin, and those dreams are stolen from her. Taken from her home and family, Rachel is sent to Kalawa, the quarantined leprosy settlement on the island of Molokai. Here, her life is supposed to end, but instead she discovers it is just beginning. Very, very interested in that because that is based off of a true story. I think I'm going to hold off on This Is How It Always Is because this is a contemporary fiction, and I just don't think I'm in the mood for that right now. And then What the Wind Knows says, in love, time is not a barrier. And in an unforgettable love story, a woman's impossible journey through the ages could change everything. That's like all I needed to know. Because I just got done reading When the Moon Hatched, which is like one of my top love stories of all time, top fantasy, top love stories. And I'm feeling really in the mood for more like epic love stories. And since my girlfriend recommended this to me and said I need to read it ASAP, I think this is what we're going to pick. So, What the Wind Knows is going on my TBR, and that means we have 3 left. Okay, hopefully the other ones will be pretty easy. 50. We finally got a number above 30. So let's see what that prompt is. A book featuring mythology or folklore. Okay, this is great. I have tons of books that fall into this genre. Let me just see. My cats are being a little cray right now. I don't know why whenever I'm filming, they always get the zoomies. I don't know what it is. Let me see what I have in my library. Okay, there are lots of options. I love mythological books. I have tons of books based off of Asian mythology. I have books based off of Greek mythology. I have books based off of Celtic and Norse mythology. So I kind of did a little search and I remembered that I have I, Medusa that I recently picked up that I've been really wanting to read. So I'm going to see if I can track down the audiobook for that. I, Medusa by Ayana Gray. I have the physical copy. I already had it on hold. Okay, so it looks like I am next in line for this book at the library. I've had it on hold for quite a while. And so I should be receiving this book this month because it says about 2 weeks, which usually most of the time I get it faster. But I think 2 weeks is the maximum. We'll still be in the middle of May. So I'm going to add I, Medusa to the list for the mythology book. And that will be our 6th pick. So 2 to go. Let's spin the wheel. Number 3. We're really liking the low numbers today. A book from your Audible library is the prompt, which, I mean, I was just in there, but I have tons and tons of books in my Audible library. So let me go back to that and see what I want to read. What has been sitting in there that I really want to read? I have Hollow by the Twisted Sisters, but I don't think I want to start a new series right now because I'm really trying to just finish up series this year. And I don't want to start new ones. I think the 3rd book for that one is coming out later this summer. So I'll probably wait for a little bit on that one. I want to read The Enchanted Greenhouse. That was on a previous TBR that I haven't finished. I think the sequel to Metal Slinger is coming out. Let's see. No, not until June. So that's not an option. Oh, I have The Scattered Bones, and I've been wanting to read this for a long time. And it's fantasy. It's a standalone, and standalone fantasies are really difficult to find. And my friend Poppy, she loved this book. She loved it, and she highly recommends it. And I trust her opinion, and we have very similar tastes. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that one because it has been on my TBR for a while and sitting in my Audible library. So we're going to go ahead and do The Scattered Bones. And we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more book pick and then we will be done. So this will be our final pick. Also, you guys, the sun is going down and I do have my reading light on. But if this video has been getting darker and darker, that's why, because it has been getting darker and darker. Okay. Final spin. 8. I thought we already did 8 though. Did I forget to remove it? Hold on, let me check. I did. I forgot to remove it. That was the prompt that was a book published before 2020. So I just need to remove that one and we'll spin one more time. Let's try again. Last one. 51. Okay. 51 is a book with time travel or manipulation. Okay. That's like one of my favorite tropes. I love time travel and time manipulation. I actually just read a book with that trope, but that's okay. All right, I have some ideas because I think that one of the books in my Libby library might be like this because this author likes to do books that have time manipulation. I've read a lot of her other books, so let's see what I've got here. So I've been wanting to read Rebecca Searle's new book, Once and Again, and she almost always has time manipulation in her books. So I'm going to go ahead and read the summary here and see if that fits the prompt. It doesn't really give it away. Let me check Goodreads. Okay, yes. It looks like this one has magical realism. And I'm not sure 100% that it's time manipulation, but it's 3 generations of women stories that we're covering, and they're all tied to a specific object that's been passed down through the time. I'm trying to see. I'm going to Google books with time manipulation. Okay, so I looked it up, and Goodreads almost always has a list, and so does Penguin Random House. So Penguin Random House has a list, and I'm going to see if any of the books on here are books that I already have that I've been wanting to read. Actually, this one I don't have, but it sounds very intriguing. It's called This Time Tomorrow by Emma Straub, and it's recommended by Oprah. Let me see if this is available. Okay, it is. It's available, and also it's a short book, and I need a short book because I have several much longer books on my TBR for this month. And that doesn't even include the other books that I'm already going to read. I'm going to read you guys a summary real quick. On the eve of her 40th birthday, Alice takes stock of her life. She likes her job, her friends, and she's generally happy, even if her life isn't as exciting as she thought it might be. Additionally, her father is ailing, and it feels as if something is missing. When Alice wakes up the next morning, she finds herself transported back to the 90s, reliving her 16th birthday. But it isn't her adolescent body that shocks her or seeing her high school crush. It's her dad, the charming 40-something version of her father with whom she is reunited. Armed with this new perspective on her life, is there anything that she would change if she could? This definitely sounds very exciting to me because I'm in my 40s and I'm a 90s baby. Like, I grew up in the 90s, born in the 80s, but I grew up in the 90s. So I was 16 in the 90s. So this is definitely my era. And I think I will really enjoy this book. Let's go through all of the books that we have for the month of May. So we have 10 Minutes and 38 Seconds in This Strange World by Elif Shafak, The 40 Rules of Love by Elif Shafak. Then we have The Ballad of Falling Dragons, which is the sequel to When the Moon Hatched. Then we have my reread of ACOTAR. We have What the Wind Knows by Amy Harmon, I, Medusa, and The Scattered Bones, and This Time Tomorrow by Emma Straub. Okay, you guys, that is everything. We have our 8 books, and then I will definitely be reading other books that become available on Libby and other recommendations that may come up that I've forgotten about. But I need to refill my prompts. So if you have prompts for me, please put them down in the comments below. I will add every single prompt that you guys put in the comments. So please put a prompt in there and I will add it to next month's list of prompts. So yours might get drawn. Okay, you guys, I hope you have a really good day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.